Oh, well, hello and welcome everybody. If you thought last week was tough, well, you got another thing coming. The 0-1 Minnesota Vikings will go up against the 1-0 Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. A couple of things to get to before the game. Injury report for both teams. The Minnesota Vikings shrouded, as it were, with injuries. Travis Lee out for 3 weeks with a shoulder tear. Blake Letelier out 3 weeks with a dislocated elbow. Paul Fritchie out 4 with a foot. And Daniel Pickering, their best linebacker, out 5 weeks with a hamstring tear. For the Green Bay Packers, who are hosting us this week, Jamal Williams placed on IR after a fractured kneecap. I have never seen that before, and we hope for a speedy recovery. Slated to be out almost a full 2 years, apparently. Oh, actually, that's not months, that's weeks. Okay, so almost a full season and off season. So it's going to get down to the nitty-gritty here for the Minnesota Vikings, who have allowed a lot of points last week and turned the ball over many times. The captains have been assigned. So it is starting quarterback Stephen Campagna. Despite being third on the depth chart, he is the captain of the offense there. And, of course, Luke Slazewski, captain of the wide receivers. We also have left guard Richie Incognito as a captain. Captain of the defense, I do believe, is Sean Clausen on the line, the linebacker. Captain here is, of course, Josh Fitzer, and then the back captain, or so the Minnesota Vikings have called him, Thaddeus Rozu, will man the defensive backs. So let's just hope that the Minnesota Vikings can fix the mistakes that were made last week. They can come out here, do some good things, and come out of here 1-1. Hopefully that will come to fruition. As it's not the season opener anymore. It's not the home opener, so you will get the television broadcast and not the simulcast. So me and Bobby Tuttle will take this game off and we'll offer our analysis post-game and during the halftime break. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you at halftime.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach, and you're tuned in to Madden 19 on EA Sports. We are moments away from what should be an excellent matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
We are at the oldest continually operating stadium in the NFL as you get a look inside Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We all know this community lives for its Packers, and the green and gold came out of the tunnel a short time ago, and it was loud. We are ready for football, so are they, as the Packers get set to match up with the Minnesota Vikings. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we look at this Packer team as we enter play here. They've been buoyed by getting 2 home games right at the start, and they come off a good victory in Week 1.
And the offense last week, they had things humming. If you're a defensive player, you may get overshadowed a little bit, but you're really buoyed by what your offense is doing.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes it actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team, the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
So here comes the Packers offense now onto the field. They'll be led out by a man who's in his 11th season now as a starting quarterback of the Packers. It's his 14th year overall, Aaron Rodgers.
And a case can be made that Aaron Rodgers is changing the way you play quarterback in the NFL. Instead of just precision and timing, he's able to take a play and extend it even when it doesn't need to be and go for the bigger play downfield rather than short, easy, effective throw.
Now the first carry for Ty Montgomery. And this first play will get him back to the 25, but that's going to be it. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle, that's what we saw right there.
Yeah, that's what their job is, and really a lot of the time they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game because you know those defensive ends, they're like in a sprinter stance. They're just headed straight for the quarterback. That was good recognition on that play to hold them to no gain.
So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. They tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed to.
He's got his target. It's Cobb. And he'll go out of bounds across the 35-yard line. It'll be a gain of 16 and give him a first down as well.
Partner, this is one of the best routes anyone can have in their offensive playbook. Tough to defend because you think it's a go route, and then he breaks it back on the comeback. There's one other thing you need as well.
A well-thrown ball.
Exactly right. You have a guy who has some precision in throwing the football because of the timing of the route.
They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and that'll make this a 2nd and 13. Draw play, Rodgers to Montgomery. And unable to get downhill there as he'll take this up to about the 37. 1 yard officially on the pickup, and it'll leave him with a 3rd and 11.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker, and what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And they'll be let out by the guy under center, Charles, at quarterback.
I read something prepping for this game that he said prior to, and I think he really said it a few months ago, where he talked about he wants to have the type of season that at the end, he's buying gifts for all the guys who helped him along the way. And I know that the team wants to hold him to that and really get into his wallet. But that's what good leadership gives you. You know, at the end of the season, because you've done a great job, QB, he's usually the guy who springs for the good stuff.
It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. They'll drop to throw. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Blake Martinez, the linebacker, was there in coverage to disrupt.
It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. They'll look to throw. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. 12 yards that time for number 12 as they move the chains.
Here we go.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll get this one up to about the 39 here. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Now back to throw. And now he'll tuck it and run. And avoids the contact by sliding. 8 yards that time, able to take off, and the result is a first down.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the 3rd one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
And they'll go on the ground. And very little running room there. He did get a couple up to the 49.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping Those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Back to throw here. Throws a quick hitter on the slant. That's complete. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
Well, from their point of view, this game could not be starting out much better, could it? Force a punt on defense, and now they're moving it crisply on offense.
Crisply, I like that. Yeah, moving it very, very well. Looks like the defense on there heals a little bit. You put a score in here, long way to go, but you're right, that's a heck of a start.
Yeah, and I think this is where the play caller is looking at his play sheet and saying, do I have that dagger play? Do I have that play and just finish them off right now? Because I think they'd love to gain that big advantage early.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stop that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
He'll look to throw. Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
As tight ends go, he might not provide the super flashy plays very often, but he's pretty reliable. Usually an excellent target, and normally catches what's thrown to him, but he didn't on that play.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. He'll look to throw. Being chased out left. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and the Packers pick it up. And he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. We'll check on his status when we get back. Rodgers looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. A pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him. Passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though.
The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack.
Now, that's a pretty darn good start to his season, huh? A sack in the opener, adds a 2nd one here. That tells you about his offseason. He came in determined to have a big year, and it's paying off. Good to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. And this is intercepted, but they'll say out of bounds. So very close to a turnover there in the end zone. This Minnesota D up to the task on the 3rd down pass play. And Crosby puts it through. And they will take the lead here in this battle of field goals to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right.
And he's going to be taken down, sacked back at the 2.
One thing that I liked about this guy during the draft process was his motor. Of course, I loved his skill.
In his own end zone, it's Rodgers. Lets it fly deep for Cobb. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
All right, let's go ahead and detail this situation here. 3rd and long coming up. Back near your own goal line. I would be very hesitant about throwing the football in this situation.
Maybe just run up the middle?
Yeah, I think that might be the spot for them. You got to try to find some space for your punter because you don't want him backed up where he has to alter what he does.
And they'll get him down right at around the 11-yard line. And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout. As they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Here's J.K. Scott now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. That's taken inside his own 40. And 9 yards there on the return following a punt of 47. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Now a leaping catch. He's got it. That throw good for 4. It's second down. The Vikings in the hurry up. They're hustling up to the line. He'll drop to throw. That'll be incomplete as the clock will stop with 14 seconds remaining. The Vikings on third down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. They'll set up to throw. And he comes back with one complete. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. This quarterback now 9 of 15 throwing the ball, 60%, and it's 1st and 10. They'll set up a throw. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And the defense has it covered. It's intercepted. Then it's ha-ha. Clinton dips with a pick. And a short return will be stopped inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. So if you like field goals, this is your game. 6-3, 3 field goals at the break. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
And hello and welcome to your halftime break. This game is actually closer than you think. The Vikings should be in the lead, but a dropped pass, not even attempted to be caught pass in the end zone wide open, Anthony Bisbee is the difference maker. This game should be 9-6. Actually, it should be more, but the 3 turnovers by Stephen Campagna, the 2 fumbles, and of course the interception there at the end. Now, I get the interception. I do. You have to give your guys an opportunity to get the ball. You just can't throw it all the way down there in that situation. But I get what he was trying to do. I really do. That's not what we need to look at. We're going to take a look at your Minnesota Vikings starters, or not starters, but Minnesota Vikings leaders in the stats here. Stephen Campagna, 9 for 16. That is 56% completion percentage. For those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look over here, 107 and an interception. Again, would have had the touchdown, but Anthony Bisbee was not looking towards the ball wide open back end zone. Rushing, Aaron Moss is the man here. Kind of sneakily coming up from the bottom of the depth chart. Excuse me. Must have been this bad soda. 8 carries for 32 yards, averaging 4. Averaging 4 yards per carry. The next man, Stephen Campagna, the quarterback. 3 for 16. Other mentionables. Justin Vandershoff, slated to be the starter. We have not seen, 3 for 12, averaging 4 yards per carry. We've not seen Travis Parker yet. He's cleared to play. He's in the lineup. We just haven't seen him in the rotation. Jesse Peterson, 3 for 31. Anthony Bisbee, 3 catches, 30 yards. 4 of the guys that, I will turn off my cellular telephonic device. 4 of the guys that not Anthony Bisbee, Stephen Campagna have thrown to, averaging over 10 yards per reception. Of course, Darren Wilson, 2 for 29, and Luis Gonzalez, 1 for 17. Nobody cares about blocking. We're going to go to defense and look at total tackles. It's Matthew Arnsdorf with 5, 1 of those for a loss, and it's Justin Lewis, 4 tackles, 2 of them for a loss. Sacks, we've got to Rodgers twice today, Richard Salthy and Leo Neal. No interceptions as of yet. We do have 4 pass deflections. Zachary Ederson, J.J. Snell, Matthew Arnsdorf, and Robert Nichols there in the first half. We're going to get you ready. Everything second half Minnesota Vikings football. Your score. Green Bay 6, Minnesota 3. I do believe it is Vikings ball when we come back. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you after the game, where I can hopefully call a Vikings win.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides, where the tension continues to build. We're going to get the ball back. Good job declining that penalty.
And his kick is indeed good. And that will tie things up at 6-6. They go play action here on first down. Hit from behind, and he's going to be driven down.
Got to him for a nice game.
And when they're blitzing like that, running back usually a good spot. And a big loss here as he's taken down. And Crosby puts it through. And they take the lead here as it's now 9-6.
Going, but you got to figure now they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. He's picked off just shy of midfield. And they get the football. They'll set up shop at their own 49-yard line. And his kick is good. And that will tie this game here in the final minute of play. And now out comes Minnesota. They have a little bit of time here to get into field goal range. Not much. In a tie game, you don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on this? But the risk is probably greater. Run the clock out, get to overtime, and try and win it there.
All right, we'll see if they do just that. Now a play fake here on first down. An incomplete. Crisis averted. Almost picked. Instead, second down. Nearly an interception. If that one's picked off, it's over. So a new lease on life, so to speak.
A lot of times when you're in coverage, you're so focused on the man and the coverage that sometimes the ball will get a rock.
That's caught inside the 20. They give him a gain of 38.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
Oh, that one got away from him. Short distance kick missed. No good. Way wide to the right. And a costly one there as this game remains tied here in the fourth. Well, he was 3 for 3 to that point, but he couldn't keep the perfect game going.
Did someone mention it on the bench and jinx it?
Jinx him a little bit.
Well, you doubt it had anything to do with overconfidence, but hey, it's an inexact science. These things do happen.
And we have free football overtime. Here we go, my friend.
And the way this game played out, this is exactly how it should end, going to overtime.
Throwing is Rodgers on third down. He's got Adams on the hookup. And he's into the end zone for the touchdown and the game winner in OT. Now, partner, a great game that we got to see and making it extra special. Not only did I get 4 quarters with you in this one, I got some overtime, a little whipped cream on top.
Look at you, trying to make this whole thing palatable.
I just want you to pay for my meal later.
You really just wanted 4 quarters what you wanted. But how much fun was that? We had that type of a game where we got us to overtime, and then we get the dramatic ending to finish things off as well. What a game.
So for the Packers, they used a favorable early schedule to their advantage as they move to 2-0. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Washington Redskins. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they'll drop to 0-2. And they will get a home date next week as they will take on the Buffalo Bills. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.
Well, there you have it. Minnesota Vikings fall to the Green Bay Packers in overtime. After the Brandon Baker missed kick wide right to win it. Big moment for the kid. You really can't blame him. But we held Aaron Rodgers to under 45% completion percentage. Only got the 1 touchdown in the end of the game. And that was, we all know, is when Aaron Rodgers plays his best football. This defense was stout, and it utterly dissected the Packers and everything they wanted to do, sans the extra frame. They have my respect, and the Minnesota Vikings defense has shown that they could bounce back after losing to the 49ers that badly. Not allowing a touchdown, like I said, until the final frame. We're going to get into these stats, get you back to the main screen where we will preview next week and get you ready for everything Minnesota Vikings versus Buffalo Bills. Stephen Campagna, who left the game twice with an injury and then came back. Have you ever seen that before? Although his QB rating wasn't that great. 40.4 QB rating. He was 14 for 27. That is 51% completion percentage. For those of you that didn't know math or didn't look over here. 168 yards passing, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. On the other hand, Smeagol coming in relief for Stephen Campagna had a QB rating of 118.8. He was 2 for 2, that is 100%. 25 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but he got the job done on a couple of plays. Rushing him was Justin Vanderschaaf, getting a bulk of the carries. It was him and Aaron Moss. Justin Vanderschaaf getting the most of the yardage, 11 carries for 58 yards. Aaron Moss, 10 for 46. Sam Gable, 8 for 24. Stephen Campagna, 3 for 16. Travis Parker, 2 for 6. And a broken tackle. We didn't even see Travis Parker until the last little bit of the fourth quarter there. In receiving, it was Jesse Peterson, 5 catches for 76 yards. Darian Wilson, 3 for 48. Anthony Bisbee, 3 for 30. Also dropped a pass in the end zone and hit his helmet. Oof. That would have been the difference maker here in this game and probably would have given us the win. Of course, Aaron Rodgers leaving didn't really help the Packers much either, but they get the win in the end. Luis Gonzalez, 2 for 19. Luke Slazewski, 2 for 22. Sam Gable, 1 for -2 yards. Nobody cares about blocking. We're going to go to defense and look at total tackles, and it was Justin Lewis leading the team in tackles with 8. Matthew Harnsdorf with 6. Jacob Pickering with 5. Thaddeus Rosu with 4. Leo Neal, Zachary Anderson, and Jerry Myers with 3. Lou Wang, Richard Salty, Sean Clausen, Tevin Fair with 2. Kevin Stark, Poi Tralamalu, who left the game with an injury. We'll get that here in just a moment. Rashid Spinks, Aaron Nelson, Josh Gable, Dan Nolte, Vinnie Brown, Darian Wilson, Justin Vanderschaaf, J.J. Snell, Sam Gable, Robert Nichols, Ryan Bulow, and Josiah Russell, each with 1. Tackles for loss, we had a bunch. Justin Lewis with 2. Kevin Stark, Matthew Arnsdorf, Jacob Pickering, Ryan Below, Tevin Fair, each with 1 as well. Sacks, we added another one. Richard Salty got his second of the game, and Leo Neal had one in the first half. Jerry Myers has picked off Aaron Rodgers here today, -2 yards, but that is what the turning point of that game was. This defense really showed up right after that. Pass deflections, oh my goodness, there was a ton. Rashid Spinks, Zachary Anderson, Robert Nichols had 2. They were all swarming the ball today. J.J. Snell, who ultimately let up the game-winning touchdown, had 1. Matthew Arnsdorf and Justin Lewis each had 1 as well. The diving one, of course. No forced fumbles, no fumble recoveries, no block kicks, and no safeties for your Minnesota Vikings defense. Kicking, it was Brandon Baker. 3 for 4. Missed the game winner, you would think. Although Aaron Rodgers does have a track record of coming back with, the Hail Marys at the end of games. He was 75%. Longest field goal of 48 yards. He had a day. No extra points. And he was 1 for 2 on 30-39. Punting, Taylor Pleen had a good day. 3 punts, 166, netting 146. 2 of them go inside the 20, and Darian Wilson had 4 kick returns for 107, and Robert Nichols had 2 punts for 16 yards returned. I'm going to get you back to the main screen where we will preview Vikings-Bills. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you in just a moment. And hello and welcome back to the main screen. Randy Replay back with you. One of these teams now is going to get a win on the season. This week, a noon kickoff, 0-2 Bills, 0-2 Vikings. Now in the press conference after the game, Mike Zimmer made the decision to go on record after the 4 turnovers by Stephen Campagna and said, if he doesn't lead us to a victory or limit the turnovers, he will be taken out for either Kenny Erickson or Smeagol Axberg. So the big news coming from the post-game press conference, Mike Zimmer putting Stephen Campagna on a short leash this week. He looked good up until the first couple fumbles. He really did. Moving the team down the field. Would have had a touchdown, but Anthony Bisbee did not react to the ball. once again, your Minnesota Vikings lose 15-9 in overtime against the Green Bay Packers and fall to 0-2, bottom of the barrel of the division. Your NFC North standings looks as follows. Packers and Lions tied 2-0 up top. The Bears 1-1. Your Minnesota Vikings 0-2. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you next week.